Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music, and you're listening to our friends Braggy and Curly.
My favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly
On the Unfiltered
And Undiscovered
podcast.
Hey there, everyone, and welcome to episode 79 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. It's amazing to be back here in Australia. It's amazing to be back here in Brisbane, and it's amazing to be looking down my webcam and on the computer screen with my good friend, my co-host from Adelaide. How are you, Braggy? How's it been?
I'm very good, Curly, but it's more to the point, how are you? Bit jet lagged, I've picked up.
We're struggling. The whole family's struggling. It's now, what's this? This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day 4.
Yep.
And it feels like we still haven't slept. So even though we have slept, and, you know, it's just a constant haze. And,
So-
last 2 days of work have been horrendous.
Is it the jet lag, Curly, or is it the fact that you're a fucking idiot and you ran a marathon?
It's probably a combination of things. And as you know, when you go on holidays overseas, you've got the adrenaline that keeps you going. So
Yeah.
you get tired and everything, but you don't want to waste a moment. And then all of a sudden you get this downtime when you suddenly get back and your body says, hey, hang on, I need to catch up for the last 3 weeks where you
Yeah.
just run me ragged. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but you've got some news. There's some
got
good
some
little
news
things
about-
happening with Rail Motor.
About Rail Motor, as you know, and as the listeners probably know, that we recorded the album in Agnes Water in Queensland. But
Yeah.
and in Agnes Water in Queensland, they have a festival called the Agnes Water Blues, Roots and Rock Festival. I think that's exactly, forgive
Yeah.
me if I got that wrong, which is kind of like a mini Byron Bay. They used to get some,
Yeah.
they get some good acts. I think, from memory, I think Busby Maru might be there this next year, 23. And my good friend who was on the program a couple of weeks ago, Waxy Walker, Glenn,
Yep.
he was booked to play there last year with his duo, the Crooked Halos, but obviously it was cancelled because of the virus. And so they've asked everyone to come back, but his duo partner's moved away. So he's managed to book us in as a little Rail Motor duo. So him and I are going to go and play some acoustic tunes there. Might throw off a bit of electric in. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to play.
Oh, congratulations! That'll be good.
Yeah. You know what's weird about
Thanks.
it, Curly? You know,
What's
I
that?
figured this out the other night, and it's crazy. But this will be the first time in my life. I'm 57, and I've been playing music live since I was about 16. That I'm ever going to get paid for playing my original songs.
Oh, that is so cool. That's awesome. So, and I'm hoping to get up there. That's in February, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you've got a ticket waiting for you if you can get up, and your lovely wife Shaz, she can get up. It'd be great. It's 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm sure good acts up there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it if we can make it. As you know, we've got a fairly packed schedule into next year with another marathon in Boston and a wedding in Manchester and coming down to see you guys in Adelaide in March.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome.
But enough about me, Curly. This program is about your travels.
Yeah.
Let's hear what
I've sort of tentatively called the program Britain, Beers, Buskers and the Bard. So, and hopefully all of that will come out in the wash. So it's an interesting journey musically that I had over the last couple of weeks.
Cool.
And once again, when I ran the marathon, I ran it with the playlist of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast from on Spotify.
Nice.
So I think the playlist now goes for something like 9 hours. So I knew that I was going to be more than covered.
So you wouldn't get any repeats.
This time I got no repeats. I got the headphones lasted this time. So it was just an amazing thing to be running around, crossing the Tower Bridge as part of the marathon, listening to, Breakthrough by the Ritzy Kids as you're running across. It was just an awesome experience.
And Curly, what was there any song on the playlist that just gave you that little perk when you needed it?
Oh, mate, can I say the ones that did, the Tailor-Made Rejects?
Yes.
Every time one of their songs came on, it just ramped you up a little bit. A band we're hoping to talk to that I've already added to the playlist, Fuel to Fire.
Yes.
They've got a song called Balls to the Wall, and that came on at just the right time as well. So there was a couple of really good classics. Anything Alison Asarch, and she wants to come back on the podcast and have a chat about the tour that she's done, which will be
awesome. Yeah, I've been following her on the socials. She's been travelling.
So,
hey, the Tailor-Made Rejects, they should write a song called Marathon.
Yeah. Well, it got me through, but each of the songs, especially the bands that we've spoken to, have all got a little bit of a memory there from the show and some of the things that were said. So it's not just the music; it's about that whole experience of having a chat to these guys and girls while they're on the podcast. So fantastic. So that was the first bit. So then I want to share something with you. First up, we came back so the day after the marathon, we shot over to Amsterdam, and we spent a couple of days there, and we had a little bit of fun, and then we caught the train back. And then when we were, the international train station in London is at King's Cross, so we just stayed in a really dingy little hotel there at King's Cross, and there's this band, there's this pub, and hopefully you can see it on the screen, and it's called the Water Rats, Water Rats Hotel. And one of the things and we went and we were eating at a pub just down the road, so the pub was awesome that we ate at, but I noticed this on the way back to the hotel, and they were saying that they're one of the preeminent live music venues in London,
right?
The Water Rats Hotel.
Okay.
And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting, because back in my Brisbane days, there was a band called Water Rats Picnic, and the Water Rats Picnic, and I'm putting two and two together and probably getting 72, because I don't know whether Water Rats Picnic was actually derived out of the logic behind the Water Rats Hotel.
It could be that the Water Rats, it just means that there was water rats coming out of the Thames and out of the Brisbane River.
Yeah. Yeah. But funnily enough, there's a couple of Water Rat hotels in Australia as well. So interesting.
Right. Okay.
So the first song I'm going to play to you is by a band called the Water Rats Picnic here in Brisbane. So here we go. My trip around Britain, and we start with a Brisbane band. And this band, can I say, there's not a lot on them anymore. There's not a lot of information, but some of the stuff is quite classic when you go out and look for them. They actually changed their name to Voodahas, and some of the commentary around the Voodahas is really quite like, they took the Water Rats Picnic and they turned to shite when they became the Voodahas. So I've actually got a Voodahas single. So,
okay.
But this is a song called I Want to Be Your Bikini Top, right?
Right.
I've always been a bachelor man, but I go to rocky stage. Always comes in different ways. Like baby, wow, you're so hot. I wanna be a bikini top. See you lying on the beach. I wanna be a little leech. Girl, you chick was better treat me. But the way I move myself that you bothers me. Fill my butt up to the top. If I could be a bikini top, follow you to the cold of the bay. No remove your clothes. Get too tired and then stop. I wanna be a bikini top. Fucking down another one. Friday afternoon school is out. Me and the gang are jiving out. Coolest clothes I'm running down. Parents' cars cruise town. At the beach I'm doing a hop. I wanna be a bikini top. Watching from the hilltop. Wanna be a bikini top. Red, blue, yellow, and polka dots. Wanna be a bikini top. Got my scissors ready to chop and do away with the bikini top. Woo! Wipe out.
What a rat's picnic, and I want to be your bikini top.
Wow.
On Saturday Jukebox, as we roll on here, this is Wham with George.
That's like a
So
that's like an 80s
yeah.
version of the chats.
Oh.
So you reckon? It's like the
I-
chats.
inspired by the Water Rats Hotel in King's Cross, London, and that deep and meaningful song called "I Want to Be Your Bikini Top." But a little bit Ramones-ish. Would you not sort of the imagery and
No, I think it's maybe, but it's from the 80s, so they all kind of look the same. But I just I could hear the chats playing that song instead of Smoko, and there wouldn't have been too many bikini tops at the Water Rats Hotel in King's Cross.
Yeah. So I thought I'd start the journey around Britain with a Brisbane band. Why not? So we went and spent a couple of days in and around Manchester, and then we caught the ferry over to Ireland. And can I just say, Ireland is such a fucking amazingly special place. It really is. So now the first thing I'm going to share with you is a bit of a promotional video around Ireland. And I'm going to share it with you and not really say too much about it until you'll pick up as we work through it. So this is a promotional video that was provided by I'm presuming that one of the tourism organisations there in. Wait a sec. I might go live. That might help. One of the tourism organisations in Ireland. So
Okay.
this.
Thank you very much.
So you're getting a bit of a feel. It's breathtaking scenery. There's lots of beers being drunk. and there's some pretty special vibes when it comes to music. So let me just we arrive in.
Yeah, before you go on, Curly.
Yeah.
To me, Ireland. This is how I mean, I've never been there. I've been to England twice. I never went to Ireland. What a dickhead. But I'm going to put it as the same sort of place as any major musical, like I'll put it with New Orleans or Nashville or any of those areas that are just so musical. Everybody can play. Yeah. Everybody's got some sort of talent. Would you agree with that? Can you prove it?
What? Yeah, there was some. We met some wonderful people, and in Ireland, and there was one stage there where I've parked the car in Galway, where we were staying right in the city centre, and I knew I had to get up early in the morning to put some money in the meter, so that I got 2 hours of parking before we headed off. But I got up, and someone had placed Galway City Council witches' hats around my car.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, fuck me, what's going to happen? Am I going to get towed, you know?
Yeah.
But it was the guy next door who saw us come in the night before and put out his requisite of, because he owned a business, and whenever he was expecting deliveries, Galway City Council had given him some witches' hats, and he just put them around my car so that I wouldn't get towed. So I thought that's pretty. That's pretty special. That was so cool. But we got to Dublin, right? So we've taken the ferry ride. That's a 3-hour thing.
Yep.
A pretty traumatic in many ways crossing. It was pretty. The Irish Sea was pretty full on that day. The waves were hitting the ferry on the side, and you know. But we get to Dublin, and we're staying at this place called the Hampton Hotel, right? So now the Hampton Hotel is, the kids called it the Swingers Hotel. There was about 14 different styles of wallpaper and lights and mirrors and everything. The rooms were amazingly huge.
Yep.
But we go down to the Hampton Hotel. The Hampton Hotel's got live music every night. So we go down and we in the restaurant, and we're just sitting there eating, having our dinner. Mm-hmm. And Sharon, and this music just starts up, and I was thinking to myself, I didn't see a stage. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Sharon gets up and she records this when this started playing. If I stay just a little bit longer, if I stay, won't you listen? So we've got 4 blokes. So we've got 4 blokes sitting around a table. Sharon hears Rod Stewart. She's up on her feet. She gets the iPhone there, and she records it, and she loves it. These guys are called the Donnybrook Strollers, right?
Right.
The Donnybrook Strollers.
Beautiful.
And they played the Hampton Hotel every Sunday night in Dublin.
Yeah.
And looking at some of the video footage from the Hampton Hotel on their Facebook page, there could be 4, there could be 6, there could be 8. They could join tables. It's just one of those things.
It's like a little club.
It's amazing, and you couldn't get more. I thought someone was taking the piss when they started to play this song, Braggy, because I thought to myself, you
How many times a night in Dublin do you reckon that someone plays that song?
But seriously, someone's taking the piss. First night in Dublin, I walk in, there's a fucking band of Irish dudes sitting around a table,
Playing the Pogues.
and one of the songs they strut out is the Pogues. Fuck me, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And can
Classic.
I say, Painters and Dockers did a great cover version of Dirty Old Town in one of their,
I think
it was early 90s.
Yeah.
And if the Pocket Watch boys are listening at all, I would love to challenge them to do a version of Dirty Old Town as one of their covers. Wouldn't that be
version.
awesome as Pocket Wash? Yeah. So, how cool was that? So that was a great
mate.
start.
Envious. I just see the Guinness flowing and singing. Did you sing along?
Oh, mate, I was videoing. No one wanted to hear me. So, but as the night progressed, obviously there was a little bit more, less camera work and more singing along, and you could see as the crowd was coming in as well. It was just going to be one of those nights. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was Dublin, and it's a shame we didn't spend more time in Dublin because it was sort of like get in and get going early the next morning. So.
Okay.
And then we sort of circumnavigated the bottom part, and we ended up in Galway the next night. Now, Galway is just a feast of buskers, right? There's one street there. It's a beautiful, colourful city. That's grey because of the weather, I guess. But the housing itself, like. You go into some parts of England, as you would know, and it's all brown, it's all grey. But in Galway, they've seemed to have gone out of their way, or Galway, whichever way you say it, to paint houses differently, like yellow, orange, purple.
Yeah, you see those classic photos of the fishing village, don't you?
Yeah. So it was really cool, but there was a feast of buskers, right? So in one of the streets, I reckon there was 6 buskers, all with a different style, in about a 1 kilometre stretch heading down to the river. So it was really just a really good feel. But this one guy stood out to me, and he was playing outside Eyre Square, which is one of the older parts of town. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy. He's called the Psychedelectric Bard. So the Bard, as in B-A-R-D.
Yes.
And this guy's got an incredible voice, and I just sat there and fucking was in awe. So first up, I'm going to share something from his Facebook page. He does have a Facebook page. Cool. And this is something that was, it's a black and white, it's only a very quick clip, and it's called Champagne and Reefer. So,
that's an old Muddy Waters song. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's an old Muddy Waters song, I think.
Oh, never gonna get high, just as sure as you know my name. I'm gonna get high this morning, and it's gonna be a crying shame. I'm gonna sing with the reaper, he messed around with no cocaine.
Now that's the guy that was on the clip.
Yeah,
he's got the same thing on his guitar. Hey, see?
Absolutely. So, yeah, you did take notes. So, and I'll just share with you. I just need to turn that one off. I'll just share the photo of the Psychedelectric Bard as he was dressed on the day. He's got this dog that goes with him. So,
dogs
and once again, he was
always
on the
handy when you busk. A dog's always handy. Yep.
But this guy's got an incredible voice. So I looked him up and I found some stuff, and this is one of his songs on YouTube, and he goes under the Bard of Oisin, I think.
Knocking down the worth today. I found the world
futile and all around. What has mankind done? What has mankind done? As far as all the eyes can see, that's what matters most to me. The trees, the sea, the land, the beasts. Why can't we let thee be? Why can't we let thee be? But how long spirit stop to stare at unfilled duty or lack of care? The land shakes and quivers to my bones. I seem charged, lifeless, broken, troubled tongue. Time after time, the shall return to rock loved, the place he learns, and generations never turn. How long spirits stop to stare at unfilled duty or lack of care? Then it shakes and quivers to my bones. My sacred short lifeless, broken, troubled home.
He needs to be out in front of a band with that voice.
Oh, mate, he does have a band. Looking at his Facebook, so I think he's a bit of maybe the Irish version of Dave Bragg. Does a couple of different things. So, but great voice. There were people around him. Even when you look at the photo that I shared just before, I'll just pull it back up. There's like the guy there with the camera. There's a lady there with the camera. Yeah. It's just
Look
was
at his
absolutely
dog all wrapped up there.
Yeah, just captivating. So, so I thought that was really representative of what I came across in Galway, and just to give a little bit of context to the beer thing. This is there's a pub chain in the UK called Wetherspoons. Now, when you do the sums, these prices here are for pints. Okay. So a pound 49 for a pint. So that's $3.
Shit.
$3 for a pint. $4 for a pint.
Any good? Is it lager?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Okay.
I struggled with the like you'd order a pale ale, and because they love to have their pale ales at a warmer temperature to let the flavours come through, I struggle with that because I'm used to my pale ales being cold.
Yeah.
But so it was so that was the beer equation. So the last thing that I just wanted to talk about is that we had this British playlist on in the car, right? So, there was a lot of times the kids would just have their headphones on, and there was, I was playing some of my music, and then I just thought, I'll just find a British playlist. We're in Britain, let's just put something on. Yeah. And I've never really been a big, person that dived into the Beatles. Yes, I know their stuff, but I've never really been a Beatles person. But then this one song, and I gave you a bit of a heads up about this because this one song intrigued me because everyone knows the song. But when I was like really listening to it because the playlist repeated and I heard it a couple of times. I'm thinking, there's 3 songs. There's almost 3 songs in this one song.
It's definitely
And-
3 distinct musical passages in the song, yeah.
Yeah. So let's put the song on, and then I'm going to hand it over to you to help me understand it a little bit more.
Okay.
Stuck inside these 4 walls, sent inside forever, never seeing no one nice again, like you. If I ever get out of here, thought of giving it all away to a registered charity. All I need is a pint today. If I ever get out of here, if we ever get out of here.
Okay, we're reloading now. If you can all adopt the same positions again. Thank you very much.
Well, the rain exploded with a mighty crash as we fell into the sun. And the first one said to the second one there, I hope you're having
start.
Yeah, mate. And I really didn't. I've always, when you hear that song and you hear that Band on the Run, which is, in my mind, very Beatles-esque, but you know that song, but then to hear those and to focus in on those two very interesting and contrasting intros into what is a well-known song. I thought that is
it's the
so
whole song. It's
intriguing.
not just that last
yeah.
bit, it's the song. So
yeah, I know.
So I think, and look, if I get this wrong, then people will tell me, but Beatles break up in 1970, and then McCartney has a couple of solo albums, and they're okay, but I think they're just material that he's had lying around from the Beatles, obviously, and then he decides he wants to go and play live again, because obviously the Beatles hadn't played live since, a long time, and so he gets a band together with his wife Linda and Denny, and they write songs, and they decide they're going to record in Lagos in Nigeria, right? And they go there.
As you do.
Yeah, and so I think he had three different parts. Like that first bit is really like a ballady sort of song, and then it moves into that rocky thing, which is almost funky rock. And then the end, it's almost like the last bit where he's singing "Band on the Run" is very country. To me, it reminds me of the Eagles almost. That sort of style, and the little transition into it. And so apparently George Harrison said to him once, when the Beatles were still wrapping up all their financial shit, and they'd finally got rid of Klein as their manager, Harrison was like, "Oh, it's just like being locked in a prison cell. I just can't wait to get out of the Beatles and be free." And so that first bit, also when they were in Lagos, all their demo tapes got robbed at knife point. So all their demo tapes got stolen, so they had to remember all the songs. So somewhere, maybe still, is the original demo tapes somewhere, unless someone recorded over them.
Wow.
So they had to go in this little studio, stuck inside these four walls, and try and recreate all that stuff. And then they were getting arrested all the time because they were travelling, going around countries, and they were getting arrested for possession of marijuana. And so some of the band members would have to spend fucking 4 days in jail. And it was just a shit fight. And I think that's all those little things like being stuck inside. And then at the end, they're out. It's beautiful and they're out. And I've actually got the album here, which is really cool. So I'm about 9 years old when I'm listening to this because my brother had it. So I played a big...
Oh, wow.
And the front album, it's got Parkinson on there. Parkinson from the thing. James Coburn's on there. Obviously guys that he knew. And then the inside, the Children of Nigeria. Pretty cool, huh?
Okay.
I just love it. The whole album is fantastic. You should listen to the whole album, Curly. It's one of those albums that we talk about that starts... It's a journey all the way through. It starts with Band on the Run. There you go. That's all I know.
Yeah, so thanks for that, because, that was one of the first things we spoke about when we caught up on the phone this week, is that I'm intrigued by this song now because... when was that released? Early 70s? I'm gathering. And
73.
Yeah. And so Curly suddenly decides to listen to it here in 2022 because he's stuck in a car with his family.
I'm always discovering stuff like that. I've just discovered...
Yeah, it's cool.
I've just discovered the early Pointer Sisters.
Oh, truly? Yeah.
So we know the Pointer Sisters as the 80s kind of disco-y...
Yeah.
But they got all these albums in the early 70s. Listen to those people. It's fantastic.
So the last thing I'm going to share with you is one of my most favourite places in the UK, and it's a little city called Bath. It's 100,000 people live there. Roman baths, there's a lot of Roman history there. There's little laneways, it's cobblestone streets. It's everything you think England is and should be. But there's a place there where we had dinner, and it's like a soul food restaurant. So, the beer I had that night was a Jamaican pale ale.
Awesome.
So it was that sort of a place.
I bet you that was cold.
But this, no, it wasn't. But this was the entryway.
Oh, fuck! I love it.
How cool is that?
Oh, I love it. I would have got my beer and come back and looked at that.
So it was just that was just the vibe of the place. It was just so cool, and just having all those old speakers, and there was a couple there that I reckon I've owned. So there's a Sharp one over here that I'm pretty certain was something similar to what I had. So, but
looks like a couple of tannoys or something there as well, maybe.
But what an amazing thing! And Sharon said
cool.
You need to have that as your backdrop on the podcast. So who
yes,
knows? You might see it as a virtual background. So, but so that was my trip around England, mate. That's
the
United
fantastic,
Kingdom.
mate. I'm very, very envious, especially those scenes in Ireland. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even on that, I'm glad you picked up the Bard was on that promotional video because also that concept of, I don't know whether it was the Donnybrook Strollers also on that video, but there was that group of Irish people singing around a table. So it must be part of the tradition that who needs a stage when you can just sit at a booth and build out some music.
Well, if you even in Australia, if you go to a proper Irish pub somewhere, and a lot of times it's just on St Paddy's Day, but you get a bunch of Irish guys that sitting around playing different things.
It was pretty special, that's for sure. So anyway, I hope everyone's enjoyed that. That was, I think I'm going to call it Britain Beers, Buskers and the Bard. So who knows, it might resonate.
I love it.
But I hope you enjoyed that. That was my little trip to the United Kingdom. Not really sure what our next show is going to be. I've got a lot of work to do over the weekend in trying to coordinate some people. Some people are wanting to come on the program. I just haven't slotted anyone in for the next couple of weeks. So I do know Alison Asarch wants to come on and talk about her tour that she's done. And hopefully she's got an exclusive for us. The Ritzy Kids played live the other Saturday night at the Bridge Hotel in Sydney, and Sean's, go check out his Facebook page. He's got a couple of snippets of the live set, which sounded amazing. So great to see the Ritzy Kids still going forward. So
Tailor-Made Rejects are just playing everywhere.
Oh, don't they? They are one of the hardest working bands going around.
They're the hardest working band in Australia.
And we've got Mick Madoo still somewhere in the mix. He's still playing around with both the Mesmerizers and Ursula. So there's a fair bit to look forward to in the coming months. As per always, check out the Spotify playlist, Unfiltered and Undiscovered. Like the bands, follow the bands that are in there if you like their music.
Bands.
Yep, absolutely. There's nothing better than just being surprised by walking in and suddenly being like, I cannot express how amazing it was to walk into the place at Dublin and just see that. It was just, and I'm as I said, I thought someone was taking the piss. Here we are. I sent you a clip of it and said, "Where am I?" He said, "Well, you're in fucking Ireland, of course," because it was just so like you go to Ireland and there's a group of guys playing the Pogues, like that happens in movies. Yeah. So of course we're on YouTube. Don't forget we're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I need to catch up with some of the socials over the last couple of months. We had a great episode with the boys from the Grand Union. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you go back and listen to it.
Sydney's
we had
best
Waxy
kept
Walker,
secret.
The best kept live secret.
Yes.
And Stu just writes songs with a difference, doesn't he? He's out there. So the week before that, we had Waxy from Agnes Water.
And your Stu.
And then the week before that, we had the big Stu, talking to us about some of the up and coming country artists. So if you've missed any of those last 3 episodes, pop back and listen to them or watch them on YouTube. This is Curly. You will see us again
Next week?
Next Monday night. Not sure who we'll have, but no doubt it'll be a cracker of an episode. Thanks, Braggy.
Thanks, Curly.
We'll
talk to you.
We'll see you all again soon.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Alison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Railmotor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music, and you're listening to our friends Braggy and Curly.
My favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly
On the Unfiltered
and Undiscovered
podcast.